everyone. A very good evening to everyone. You know, people who visit Goa, who live here, who have lived here for generations, they have their own idea of Goa. You agree with me? I think you do. Goa is flat for some, it's round for others. And Goa's history, like fashion, sometimes comes full circle. You can go anywhere in Goa, turn the same corner every single time, and yet find something beautiful, something new. Now, our new organization, Heritage First Goa, started with Jack and Snigdha Manchanda. There she is. We started this for a purpose. We started this to spread awareness, to share experiences, to share learning, and also to learn from our guests. So our first festival, which is the Heritage First Festival, starting tomorrow, with Jack and me doing a signature walk through Panjim, the city centre, is going to start off what I call a sharing and learning experience. If I tell you, for example, that there are petroglyphs on a plateau very close to us, and there is a board game carved on the rock, on the flatbed, that is called Mankala. And you tell me that Mankala is an Arabic word. And somebody else pipes up and says, Manka is Gujarati for beads. And they used to play with cowries and beads. And you can still order Mankala, the board game, on Amazon. Okay? So see how much sharing has come from the interaction with people. And that is exactly what we aim to do through our organization, starting with our Walks and Workshop Festival. Heritage First Goa will embody our unique heritage through walks, workshops, presentations, lectures, and publications. No audience will be too small, no group will be too big. We will also share, and we will enable others to share, our researchers to share. That's the most important thing. All our pilots, and Dishan will come up and tell you why we call them pilots, our curators, they will share with us years of research, years of experience. That makes us unique in many ways. We'll continue to share this with sister groups outside. But we called it Heritage First Goa because Goa will come first. Goan heritage will come first for us. And above everything, Heritage First Goa will put Goan heritage, its people, first of all. So thank you very much for joining us today. I welcome you once again and invite our guest speakers for tonight to share their experiences and their knowledge.
Thank you, Rekha. It's very special to be here. It's named after someone iconic, Dasya the author. And in a way, what we're doing here is representative of what we want to do with the organization, which is to turn public spaces into a way of learning. And to start off, we have someone very special with us. We have Celsa Pinto here. And she'll be telling us a little more about Dasya the author and everything that he stood for. Celsa Pinto is the former Director of Education, Government of Goa. She is an academic historian and the author of 11 books. Welcome, Celsa.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I hope I'm loud enough. Yes. Because otherwise you will go off to sleep with a lecture on history. So, I first would like to say congratulations to this new team, your directors and your team of, I hope I don't get it wrong, Heritage First Goa. I wish you all the best. for this festival, which I feel should be the start of a celebration. It's a celebration of heritage, not only of Panjim, of Panji, but a celebration of what Goa stands for. Or just doesn't stand for beaches, but the hinterland is beautiful. You go to the prehistoric, I think you made a reference to that, the prehistoric carvings which are at Panjai Mall in Kepe, in Rivona. Go to Rivona caves, go to Tamri Sunda, go to Patra Devi, go to Lamgaon caves in Bicholi and so forth. And Goa has to be very proud of its heritage. Whether prehistoric, pre-Portuguese, Portuguese or current, it should be very proud of its heritage. As about Panji or Ponje or Panjim, whatever we name it, it is our capital and we love it. And we ask Panji to love us in turn before it is covered with water or before it sinks, to love us as we love it. I'm sure most of you know that Panji initially was a bog land, a land full of marshes, bogs, stagnant pools and so forth. And in March 1843, it was elevated by an order sent from Portugal to the position of capital city, the second capital of Portuguese India. But let me tell you, even before this date, that is March 1843, we have in Goa still the heritage sites which date back, not very far from here, the former Adil Shah Palace, also known as the old Secretariat, the Linearish Bridge, the church of the 16th century, the church of course elevated to the level of church in the early 17th century, the church of Immaculate Conception, the church of St. Image. These were before Panji became unofficial capital. These sites are there even today. Even before it became unofficial capital in the year 1759. Unofficial capital for 84 years. Imagine, before it became official capital in 1843. And during that unofficial period, it still continued to be a bogland. But there were structures and there was tremendous work done by one viceroy who is named the father of Nova Goa. He was Dom Manuel, the Portugal, the Icas, conferred his existence to him. The St. Image, what you are calling Nanda today, was the drain which was built by him with the 6 bridges. Then the custom house was built by him, and many other structures, the road netway way back in the 1830s. You see the biggest structure in Panjim? Which is the biggest structure in Panjim, I know, ladies and gentlemen? Who can tell me? Which is the biggest official structure in Panjim? The structure of the police headquarters, the whole building, that dates back to the 1830s. 1830s dates back to this, can be traced back to this man, Dom Manuel, the Portugalicas, to him. So that was pre-urbanization that he did. But the pre-urbanized period exists even today. Compile the bridges, the drain, the custom house, and all other structures and netway, we owe it all to him. after Panjim became the capital, core works were, the core public works were, undertaken between 1870s to 1890s. And you can see the Port Authority, I think, is the starting point of the these core works, because Port Authority was not just for the purpose of God, C-O-R-T, God. Port Authority was not just a road which we use today, that road, going to Fontainebleau down. It's not just a road. It was a roadway linking Fontainebleau and this western side of Panjim, the central zone. It also meant the extraction. It meant the extraction of mud to fill up all the pools, the stagnant pools, the marshes. And when all of them were filled up with the mud from Port Authority, also the embankment of River Mandovi and Fontainebleau Creek and Santinage Creek. This embankment, all this we owe to the mud from Posasau Hill. This is called Posasau Hill, and it was cut up. It was cut up into two parts and to connect Fontainebleau and central zone, and to fill up the mud, to fill up this whole area. Such core works were built. Your market, your cemetery, and there was a slaughterhouse in Watford Beach, owes its existence to that period. The complete roadway, to me, the complete road network of roadways. If you look at the official gazette of 1903, you will be shocked that this network of roadways is almost the same, exclude Miramar and Karanzale, everything from Fontainebleau right up to Kampal, everything the same. It dates back to 1903. So, such core works were done, and in addition to that, so many amenities that came in the 20th century. The canalization, the pipelines, water pipelines, water supply, the proper drainage system for, then besides not only the drainage, the sewage from the homes, but also the rain water gutters and things. The main drains all go to the 1830s. Then the supply of electricity. Then came septic tanks, because earlier there were pigs, and after that there was, like how garbage is collected in Panjim, waste, human waste. It started in 1896. Human waste was collected in Panjim. So septic tanks came in the 1930s. Regulations relating to land use, that is especially residential use, that you have to purchase the land under auction, and within 2 years you have to construct your home. And this was, completely inspected by the Public Works Department. If within 6 months you do not begin, return the land, return back to the government. So then public structures also came up. So in brief, I've written two books on Panjim. The first one is the making of Panjim, and the second one is the governance and the population. So in a nutshell, I have told you, I hope I'm not too long, I have told you what really happened. Imagine a land full of marshes. We are standing on a land which was converted from marshes into what it is today. So let us love it, let us respect it, let us not take it for granted, and let us preserve it for prosperity. So thank you very much for a very patient hearing.
Really special that we had Celsa share our first piece of history as part of this festival. Thank you so much, Celsa. We think the people who inhabit the place and all around here are as important as all the history that was shared to us by Celsa. We want to invite some people who've been around this park for many generations and hear about their experiences living around here. Our first guest is Ninette Fernandez. Ninette is a third-generation baker running a family bakery business that was started in 1922 by her grandfather. I don't think Ninette needs an introduction, but welcome Ninette.
Look at this audience. I'm not talking about numbers, but the caliber of people right here. With the intelligent people, culturally strong, and really, close to heritage, knowledgeable of our country. I'm glad I'm not here to speak about the Goan culture, but to just say what it feels like to belong to this place. Louder. Louder. Come closer. I just need to say a few words what it feels like to belong to this area. And my name is Lynette. And we have, our family runs a small bakery here called Mr. Baker. My grandfather started the bakery in 1922, so we are 102 years old. But that was in Mapsa, and my dad opened this store sometime around 1975, 75, 76, yeah. I think this area we called the church square those days, if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong. But now with the garden come up and it's called Grass with the Orca, I think we have a different, this garden holds so much of events and little things that are important to the city of Panjim. And I think I should say I'm a little biased to say I am terribly biased because I think this square of ours is the prettiest commercial square. We have a little of everything. I mean, there's enough in Panjim, but I think this is the prettiest square. And to add to our strength, we've got the church here, the Immaculate Conception, to get our spiritual needs. We have so many eateries around the place to give us good food and snacks and drinks. And then if we're not feeling well, we have the liquor pharmacy as well. so I think it's really good to be Mr. Baker. Thank you very much. I think it was my mom who's the strength behind the store. And I am trying my best to fit into her shoes, but I know I don't do justice. But yeah, this is the spot for Panjim. Amongst the towns in Goa, I think Panjim is the prettiest, and we people keep it that way. We strive to keep it that way, and that's how it comes. I must thank the founders of HFF. I tried to remember the BFF, so I said HFF. So thank you very much for having me and to say a few words, and I hope and all the best to you guys and to the whole team. Thank you.
Thank you, Ninette. Next up, we have someone from across the road, the other side. We have Raj Vaidya. He is a pharmacist at Hindu Pharmacy and has always lived in Panjim, and he is the grandson of the illustrious Dada Vaidya. Raj.
First the food, then the medicine.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak a little random experiences in Panjim, having lived here all along. In spite of all the bashing that Panjim has been getting, after hearing the long history of whatever development or slash bashing that it has got from the natural nature, filling up of the mud over there, partial bashing as we go to call it. So Panjim has survived, sustains, and I'm sure it will live on in spite of all the major hurdles that it faces, or maybe rather we look at it as hurdles. Panjim keeps smiling all along. So this itself has been one of my playgrounds right since childhood, and many open spaces, and luckily this open space still remains here. This one spot, little different in design then, and that spot then a little in design then. Those were our playgrounds, and lots of children coming here. This place was bustling in the evenings, and especially the Sundays. My other playground has been there, and even today, half my life, half my day, half my time I spend here, and it has always been there. So that was then a playground, now it is a work ground. So otherwise, moving around in Panjim, there are so many things that even today, when I like to explore, whether it's walking, cycling, or by the motor car, trying to take the odd ways to reach somewhere, not necessarily because of the traffic issues, but to see. And many times, every time I go in certain places, there are many new things to see which already existed, but I never knew. Panjim is vast, and other than the few places that the tourists visit, they flock and crowd in the church, Miramar Beach, casinos, and the heritage place that's become over commercialized. Besides that, there are so many other places which need to be explored, bracket not to be commercialized, so that they don't get spoiled. People don't like visitors coming. So all around in those days, walking, cycling was a natural thing. Thinking back, it is such a pleasure. At this height and this age, we could cycle all around Panjim and build up our stamina going up to Altin with the small bikes. But that was all worth it as we reflect back. And it's not that today we reflect back badly. It's always feels like Panjim first. Due to some reason, we tried to explore living out of Panjim for a few months. Magnet brought us back. So I have lived here maybe first 25 years of my life within 500 meters from here. And next maybe a few years Miramar, now in Yoginagar. But it's always the magnet of Panjim that brings us. And the most wonderful time to be in Panjim is the Sundays, the holidays, where it's nice and peaceful. It's not that what it is now is too much, except maybe that road. But it's all purely mismanagement. Otherwise, Panjim is still ready to face all the brunt, and I think we'll live on and it will always remain in our hearts. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Raj, for sharing such personal experiences with us. Next up, I would like to invite Sapna Sardesai to share her experiences around the garden. She is a publisher, researcher, and writer on Goan heritage cuisine. She has authored several cookbooks and is the proprietor of the award-winning restaurant Kokum Kai. Welcome, Sapna.
Okay, I'm a writer, so I have written and brought what I want to say. Because my mind is too muddled for me to remember all the things that I want to say. So please excuse me, everyone spoke extempo, but I will read out, okay? Don't mind. It's lovely seeing so many familiar faces and meeting like-minded people here. Team Heritage First Goa. This is an amazing initiative. Well done. people today need to value the place that they have been blessed with. And of course, what better place than Panjim to kick off this festival. For me personally, talking about Panjim is such an honor. Thank you, Heta, for having me here. I'm from Vasco, but my maternal grandmother lived in Savorde. In those times, they had very limited means to come all the way and travel to Panjim. So what I know about Panjim was what she used to tell me. Just the 2-3 times that she visited Panjim when I was growing up. So every time I visited her, she would paint these beautiful, vivid images of a city for me. The Mandavi river line, the gaily painted heritage homes, the tree-lined avenues, the Miramar beach. And to my eyes, it was something out of a fairy tale. As I grew up, I would rush to accompany anyone coming to Panjim. My dad, my uncle, my cousins. And very often by Vafor, we would come here from Vasco. And a trip to Mr. Baker, Cafe Central, Cafe Tato, Hotel Mandavi, Goinchin was central to every visit. Panjim began to fascinate me too from then on. When I joined the law college at Miramar, I got a chance to get closer to this magical city. I soon began working as a journalist at Gomantak Times and got married to Girish Sardesai, who had grown up in Panjim himself and added to my storybook with his own tales of evening walks with his grandfather, a freedom fighter, in this very garden, which to him continues to be the Jardin, a part where he spent the happy part of his childhood. We soon began to live in Porvorim, and Panjim was just a bridge or a ferry away for us then. I built my own circle of friends and clientele. I ran an advertising agency and did campaigns through this agency for the CCP elections and for the late Sri Manohar Parrikar. And I was party to conversations where Panjim was discussed threadbare. Panjim's problems began to feel like my own. My publishing firm Printers Devil also began to get recognition in this period. And then COVID struck. A lot of people found new meaning in their lives, and I realized that what brought me maximum happiness was cooking. I began to share recipes and pictures of food on social media and documenting Goan heritage cuisine. At this point, Prakash Pereira of the Armakar Group approached me with this concept of starting a restaurant exclusively showcasing Saraswat food. And soon Kokam Curry was born in 2021. First in Kandolim and very recently in Panjim. Just the people who don't know, we are just across the road here. Amidst their other well-known establishments, Champs, Lewis and Company, Kokam Curry began to shine. With the love, support and blessings of the people of Panjim and beyond, Kokam Curry has fast grown into a much loved and popular brand. And just like that, I am today an integral part of this city that has fascinated me all my life. Most of the heritage recipes that I cook up in this grand 300-year-old mansion that is Kokam Curry are actually my grandmother's. And they pay tribute to not just the food she would cook, but the tales that she would tell me as a child about Panjim. The stars that she planted in my eyes and the dreams that she nurtured in my heart back then are a reality today. So, viva to my Aji and viva Panjim. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sapna. As an organization, we would love to honor and promote Goan crafts. So we have something very special to give to all our speakers. Can I ask her to come back on stage? Sapna, Selsa, Vinit and Raj. We have something to please come. Kavita, I'd like to invite Kavita to hand it over to others.
Madam. Kavita.
Kavita, you take care.
making godris or quilts is a long time tradition in Goa. And we've made these quilts from fabric that was donated to us. There is a lady called Radha Kauthankar in Mandre. She's made the quilts for us. That's eco-friendly wrapping.
Sapna, can we please have you?
Stay there, stay there, stay there.
Sir, stay there.
Stay.
We'd love to get some pictures.
Yeah, have a. In fact, please.
Have Jeanette on stage.
Yeah.
Rita, Snikha, Jack, can we
Eta, Jack.
Yeah, come forward. Yeah. Come in the room. Yeah.
All of
Everyone. Ready? Yeah, come. Everyone come in this line.
this on this
Yeah.
Everyone.
step down.
Yeah, step, yeah.
A few
No,
steps.
just there, second step.
Fine.
Yeah, there. Come closer. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a little.
This is carving art, by the way. It's a unique art, which is architectural art so far. And now it's on sarees as well.
Okay. Everyone look here. 3, 2, 1. One more.
I think we're already on to a special start with the festival. I would like Snikha to tell us a few words about what we have planned for the festival.
Hi everyone, good evening. I'm Snigdha Manchanda and I'm really excited to tell you about the Heritage First Festival. This is our inaugural walk festival and I strongly believe that we will only save and celebrate what we understand, and we will only understand something that we immerse ourselves in or have a learning opportunity towards, right? So the Heritage First Festival celebrates Goa's built and natural heritage, and the intention of this festival is to create learning opportunities and memorable experiences with the help of experts and enthusiasts who are going to lead these walks for us. And I sincerely hope that this festival ignites your love for Goa, and we can only save, nurture, celebrate something that we love. So I sincerely hope you find something in our curation that excites you. Throughout the festival, which is divided into 2 phases, we have curated things, different interest groups which cover landscape, architecture, biodiversity, arts and crafts. So there's something in there for everyone. And I do hope you look through our schedule, visit our Instagram page. We already have a couple of walks sold out and our last few seats available for some of them. So I'm personally very excited because I moved to Goa about 11 years ago and I got a chance to learn about Goa only through these immersive experiences, and we've had the support of our curators and the walk pilots. And if I can invite Rishan to tell us a bit about why the name pilot. So every walk is being hosted by a pilot. And Rishan, you want to share why we chose the word pilot?
Thanks, Gurja. So first I must say it's such an honor to be speaking in this historic garden. And when we were coming up with a name for the people that are going to lead our walks and workshops, it took some time, and it wasn't easy, and because a lot of these names are trademarks and they're copyrighted, we can't use them. But we had to come up with something which fits the bill. The people that are going to lead these walks and workshops are actually some of Goa's finest people who've done research, they're passionate about heritage, they're open to sharing their knowledge, just like that, so that everything can get better. And of course, education is one of the best ways to sort of change the masses and change the mindsets, right? So it had to be something fit for Goa's finest people. And then we came across, thinking about it, pilot is one word that sort of I came across and everybody liked it. Pilot comes from the motorcycle pilot. We have motorcycle taxis in Goa, which is sort of not common everywhere else. And the motorcycle pilot and the motorcycle taxi stand is already sort of part of Goan lore. Whether it is the post office releasing a special cover and cancellation as an homage to the motorcycle pilots, whether it is Damodar Bhai Mauzo and his short story talking about a pilot named, a motorcycle pilot named Tattaram, set in the 1980s during the language agitation. That story is from Teresa's Man. That's one of the stories and one of the best stories in that book. So even if you look at the side of Kantara, you have H. Britton and Sukurin, duet on a comedic song called Pilot Irmao. There's a video on YouTube you can watch where Sukurin is sitting at the back and the pilot's riding towards Old Goa, right? So this was a word which people in Goa were familiar with. Everybody has experienced it. I myself have sat on the pilots, when I used to come back from college, I'd get on at the bus at GMC and the bus would come around 10:30, 11, so why bother someone to come and pick me up? I just take my bag, that's it on the bike and the pilot would drop me home. So it felt like a nice word, people are familiar with it and it has a good ring to it as well, and that's how we decided to sort of continue to give an ode to our motorcycle pilots, and that's how we sort of stuck with the name. So our heritage trail pilots, some of you all are here today, and they are one of the sort of cornerstones of this entire festival that we're doing. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Snigdha and Ishan, for sharing with us about the festival and the pilots. I would like to invite Jack to thank everyone and conclude this inauguration.
Finally, they've given me some work to do. Like a true director, I've been sitting and everyone else has been working. So I would like to thank Dr. Kelsa Pinto, Raj, Ninette and Sapna for the wonderful vignettes on Pangil. Special thanks to you, Doctor. I think you've covered our walk for tomorrow. We don't have to give any more facts. Picked up some more.
Fit enough, I would also join and be one of your pilots.
It will be lovely to have you. A big thank you to all our sponsors, without whom it would not have been possible to have this. And most of all, thanks to the team, Hari, Lishan, Kavita, Saloni, Aaron, and Heta and Snigdha for working so hard. And last but not least, my daughter Avnita, who I've had the true pleasure of knowing now what exactly it means to work with a Gen Z person. Every night at dinner I get the question, what really do you do about this? So like a true director, she's understood how some sort of corporate life works. Thank you, Avnita.
Thank you, everyone. We start our walks and workshops.
I forgot to thank you all for being such a wonderful audience.
Exactly.
Thank you, everyone.